Right now at noon, some local artists and organizations are ready for the Pittsburgh Art Walk.
And we've got thunderstorm chances continuing well into the afternoon hours and again in the morning.
And Kansas Governor Laura Kelly tours a new healthcare education center in southeast Kansas.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
We're tracking thunderstorms across the area. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Noe. We go straight to meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney for a first look at the forecast.
Thunderstorms started pretty early this morning, around 3 to 4 a.m., but they're continuing well into the early afternoon hours before we see a break from any of these storms. So right now out in Joplin, still a little rainy, but we're not seeing those thunderstorms right there yet. Temperatures are cooling down, about 54 degrees out there, and we see wind gusts 30 to 40 miles per hour. And if you see any of these storms passing by, visibility weakens very drastically as well. We have a flash flood warning issued for a few of our counties, Cherokee County, Lawrence County, as well as Jasper County, and that will continue until today at 5 p.m. Most of these storms are going over the same location. So earlier in the day, we had one major storm that went through south of Pittsburgh and Joplin area, dropped a lot of rain. And then again, we just had another storm that passed by. So a lot of these storms are dumping a lot of rain, and they're going to keep going in the same spot. So we're getting a lot of rain in some of these areas, as well as a lot of lightning and even pea-sized hail are also some threats with some of these storms today. But they do clear out, and then we're going to see a break before the next round of thunderstorms in the morning. I'll have more details for you in just a bit. Now back to Elise.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Well, there are a chance of some parts of the 4 states experiencing severe weather this weekend. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more on how you can be prepared.
Just about everyone in the 4 states has experience with a tornado or severe weather. If not, then you heard the stories.
Folks have heard stories about the Joplin tornado, so there is a lot of anxiety with those young children, and the more they can plan and the more they know what to expect, the easier it is for them.
During severe weather, parents are not only trying to keep kids safe, but also calm. One mom of 3 in Neosho says having a plan can smooth over nerves.
I think when they know there's a plan in place, if something does happen, I'm going to wake you up, we're going to put shoes on, we're going to go out to the shelter, and we'll be together, we'll be safe, we have a place to go. I think when kids know that you have a plan, they do better.
For the James family, their storm shelter is a big part of their severe weather plans.
The day we purchased our storm shelter and they brought it to us, we used it that afternoon. Like, they installed it and we were in it within an hour.
If folks can't afford a storm shelter, you know, if they don't have a basement, if they can't afford a storm shelter, then again, identify a place in their home that's safe for them and know what it's going to be and how they're going to be there.
Severe weather can bring uncertainties, but keeping a line of communication should be a top priority.
We've learned in many weather events that sometimes the phone lines go down. Those NOAA weather radios have crank radios that have actually flashlights, and those radios within radio stations, so then you can hear what's going on.
After finding a storm shelter and establishing communication, it's best to wait out the storm and enjoy the impromptu family time.
We have the flashlights and we try to just tell stories, and we've sang songs because it does get to be a while and it gets kind of stuffy in there. And so we pass the time by just really, you get some more family time.
Reporting in Neosho, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
And don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, the KOAM Skywatch weather app. FFA high school students are helping fight hunger and food insecurity in the McDonald County community. McDonald County FFA and the McDonald County High School partnered with Meals of Hope to pack nutritious meals for those in need. The food packaging event not only helps FFA students obtain leadership skills, but supports Meals of Hope's mission of ending hunger in communities.
I thought it was amazing because it's a really cool opportunity to get a bunch of students together and pack meals, and this year we have JAG helping, so it's definitely a plus because the more people the better, get more meals packed.
Students packed 25,000 meals at today's event. Way to go. Well, Kansas Governor Laura Kelly yesterday visited Pittsburgh to check out a new healthcare education center. Governor Kelly toured the John Parolo Education Center on the campus of the Community Health Center of Southeast Kansas.
Take care of it, good, but we have to be partners with the folks, people who are not who don't have access to health care are not going to be as concerned, or they can be concerned, but they're not going to be able to do anything about staying healthier if they don't have access to professionals and others to guide their care.
The governor also referenced the Medicaid expansion in Missouri and the success that state has had keeping hospitals and clinics running since then. Some local artists and organizations are ready for the Pittsburgh Art Walk. The event promotes a festival-like atmosphere with live music, art demonstrations, and community activities. KOAM's Fernanda Silva has more.
As big fans of Joker and Harley Quinn, Ashlyn Denon and her husband decided to incorporate the characters into their wedding. 2 years later, they are taking the couple to Pittsburgh, this time in a different way.
We did the Harley Quinn diamonds on the side with the split dye because, Harley comic book was black and red. And then we got Aston Martin in his purple pants, his Joker green top knot, and his smile.
Molly and Aston, now Harley and Joker, are some of the attractions at the Pittsburgh Art Walk.
And it brings art and our pets together for me. Two things I love the most, my animals and art.
Denon is joined by more than 100 other local artists and organizations at the event. Meg McCoy, for example, is getting ready to participate in the event for the third time.
There's really no way to access your community when you're creating artwork alone in your home. And the amount of people that Art Walk has connected me with, I went from, just drawing in my room to making a career out of art.
For her, this is an opportunity to be a part of the city's cultural scene.
Basically, every artist in town shows up and shows out, shares their work. People who run Art Walk are really committed to making sure that Pittsburgh culture is appreciated and accessible, and I'm all about that.
In Pittsburgh, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
Pittsburgh Art Walk starts at 5 p.m. this Friday. It's held on Broadway between 7th and 4th Streets. In case of severe weather, the event will be canceled and will not be rescheduled. Well, coming up, the Supreme Court weighs in whether former President Trump is immune from federal criminal prosecution. And later, we're making Parmesan smashed potatoes in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. The U.S. Supreme Court began hearing arguments this morning over whether or not former President Donald Trump can be criminally prosecuted, a decision that could greatly impact this year's presidential race. Skylar Henry has more from the Supreme Court.
Protesters gathered outside the Supreme Court Thursday, where justices heard arguments about whether former President Donald Trump should be free from criminal prosecution, a claim he reiterated at a campaign stop in New York.
We have a big case today in the Supreme Court on presidential immunity. A president has to have immunity. If you don't have immunity, you just have a ceremonial president.
Trump's lawyers argued that a former president has immunity from prosecution when it comes to official acts during his tenure in office.
Without presidential immunity from criminal prosecution, there can be no presidency as we know it.
Some justices seem skeptical of that argument.
If the president decides that his rival is a corrupt person and he orders the military or orders someone to assassinate him, is that within his official acts that for which he can get immunity?
It would depend on the hypothetical.
In filings, the special counsel argues that instead of an official act, Trump was working to carry out a, quote, private scheme to remain in power by fraud.
Such presidential immunity has no foundation in the Constitution.
The Supreme Court's decision will determine whether special counsel Jack Smith can try Trump for his alleged efforts to interfere with the 2020 election. Two lower courts have already rejected Trump's claims of immunity, but legal experts say it's possible the Supreme Court will look for a middle ground.
They may not go the full distance that Trump is requesting, but they might be willing to recognize a more limited form of criminal immunity.
The Supreme Court's decision is expected by July. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the Supreme Court.
Well, New York's highest court has overturned Harvey Weinstein's 2020 rape conviction and has ordered a new trial. The Court of Appeals ruled Thursday that the judge at the disgraced movie mogul's landmark Me Too trial prejudiced him with improper rulings. Weinstein has been serving a 23-year sentence in New York. He will remain imprisoned as he was convicted in Los Angeles in 2022 of another rape case. Still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Looking for a side dish that is simply smashing? We've got it, and these are as much fun to make as they are to eat.
And we're continuing to track a few storms moving through the area today and tomorrow morning. Join us right after the break. So we've been tracking a few storms moving through the area starting this morning around 3 to 4 a.m. They're continuing well into the afternoon hours. So let's take a look outside. This will be 7th and Range Line. We see overcast clouds and a few dark clouds off in the distance. We also have a flash flood warning for Jasper County areas as well. So watch out for that if you're going towards the area. Now temperatures warmed up to in the southern counties up to lower mid 60s, but the rest of us stayed in the 50s and actually started to cool off, especially with all these storms. It is cooling everyone off out here. Temperatures dropping down to the lower 50s now. And we have that flash flood warning for a few counties, Cherokee County, Lawrence County, and Jasper County as well. Now these are issued until about 5 p.m. So if you're in any of these areas, you're going to want to watch out. Flash flooding can be pretty dangerous, especially with how fast this rain is falling. And not to mention, we have a few more rounds of rain and they are going through the same path. We see another storm that's making its way. And as that continues to progress, we'll see it track in the same path that these past few storms have tracked. The rate at which some of these storms are dropping some rain is about 1 inch per hour, so pretty fast flooding as well. This is the storm that dropped all that rain, caused us to have the flash flood warning. As now moving off to Springfield, but we do have some more thunderstorms moving in, and we have a hail alert as well out there. Now continuing on, few more thunderstorms are going to happen this afternoon, but we'll have a bit of a break before our next round of storms coming in later this evening and overnight. But we do have a low risk for storms. So we're seeing a few hail threats, definitely the heavy rain threats, and some faster winds too. But tomorrow and Saturday is our main concern. We've got an elevated risk for severe storms tomorrow. And then again, we have an enhanced risk for severe storms on Saturday. Saturday storms will be coming in later in the overnight hours, and that is a major concern, especially for when we're expecting tornadoes, just due to not a lot of light. It's hard to see anything coming in, so take extra precautions for Saturday as well. Now let's take a future track and see what we're expecting later on today. This is about 4:30. No more storms. We've got, for most of the area, a few showers in the northern counties, and the southern counties got a break. And they're going to continue on to have a break for the next couple of hours. But by 9:30, we have the rain starting to move back into the area. Just light showers to start off with. Then we'll start to see some of those spots of heavier rainfall, even maybe some thunder as well. But thunderstorms don't really move back in until early Friday morning. So this is about 4 a.m. We could expect it to come in a little earlier like it did this morning, coming in around 3 to 4 a.m. We've got a line of storms starting to move in, and that's going to continue to trek across our region until about noon tomorrow. So we'll have another round of strong thunderstorms in the morning, but our main threat for severe weather this weekend will be more towards the afternoon. Friday afternoon, Saturday overnight, and again Sunday afternoon. So today, can expect a few more thunderstorms in the area and some showers. We are going to experience some flash flooding, especially in those counties that I had mentioned previously, and then more severe threats as we move into the weekend.
Definitely have to keep an eye on those for sure.
Yes.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Well, stick around. We're making Parmesan smashed potatoes in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. Well, here's a side dish that is simply smashing. Howard is showing us the recipe for Parmesan smashed potatoes in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
For years, we've been taught to be gentle when working in the kitchen. Well, today, I want you to throw those thoughts out, since the dish we're making today gets its big personality when we smash it. And when I say smash it, I mean in a good way. We begin by boiling a couple pounds of small white potatoes. Once they're tender, we drain them well. And while they cool, we whisk together some melted butter with a bit of chopped parsley, some minced garlic, a little salt and pepper, and a good amount of Parmesan cheese. Now for the fun part, we place our potatoes on a couple of baking sheets, and with the heel of our hand or with a large spoon, we gently smash the potatoes like this. The key is to smash it, but still keep it in one piece. We brush these with our butter mixture, and into a hot oven they go to crisp up. In about 20 minutes or so, we end up with potatoes that are crispy on the outside, tender as can be on the inside, and packed with flavor. So here's what I suggest. Go to our website and get the recipe for what we call Parmesan smashed potatoes. I'm Howard of the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a smashing way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Well, you can, of course, find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go on over to our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. Now, here's a look at the 4-state market prices.
Well, temperatures only got up to the low 60s across the region. We are starting to cool down already with all these storms passing through, cooling things off. We've got a few more hours of storms and some flash flooding, especially in the Jasper County and Lawrence County areas. Watch out for that. And then we've got more storms moving in early Friday morning.
Be sure to keep an eye on that, especially as the weekend continues. And Dow, what do we have for tonight?
Well, lots coming up at 5. For starters, most new vehicles now come with crash avoidance systems, but new research shows those systems don't always work. We're going to take a look at where the vehicles fell short. Plus, McDonald County students partner with the FFA to package 25,000 meals, helping fight food insecurity in their community. And a Joplin High School student is one of a select few that's been accepted to the MIT summer program. Hope you join us for those stories. A lot more, of course. It's coming up on KOAM News at 5.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dow. Well, that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at noon. We'll, of course, see you right back here at 5. Until then, have a great rest of your day.